Europe faces an existential crisis. Anti-natalist culture, as well as oppressive taxes and disastrous economic policies, have suffocated the local population's ability to start families. At the same time, EU leadership has turned to mass immigration from places with very different cultures as a quick fix to a problem they caused. The West's anti-natalism was a post-World War II baby boom scare that made short-sighted pseudo-academics start pushing the idea that the world was going to end due to overpopulation. This, of course, was nonsense, but they still managed to convince the world of their theories, pushing anti-natalism as an objective good. Anti-natalists teamed up with the feminist movement, as well as the business class, to further undermine the family structure by putting a universal focus on careerism for cheaper labor. Anti-natalist rhetoric was so successful, it even managed to convince the Chinese government to institute a disastrous one-child policy. Further than that, the West government instituted unreasonable tax burdens with uncontrolled expenditure and inflation, destroyed the housing market with bureaucratic regulations that suffocated competition and favored monopolistic corporations. Not to mention their social security plan, a de facto pyramid scheme that made workers today pay for retirees, which in an aging population, with more retirees than workers, inevitably crashes. All of this resulted in young Europeans being unable to afford homes, children, or even find spouses with common values. When the consequences of this became apparent, did the EU revert its disastrous policies and start helping its youth out? Of course not. It instead started opening its borders to outsiders, who struggled to adapt, and became themselves dependent on government welfare, which the government generously provided to them at the expense of the already suffering European youth. For the foreigner, having a family in the EU is cheap. The government provides them with housing, benefits, food, and education. Anything they can want. They can promote different cultural norms that often clash with local traditions, and enjoy lenient law enforcement. But at least the business class were happy, as businesses preferred them as a source of lower-cost labor. And the power-hungry political elite? They're ecstatic. Europe stood as a bastion of Christianity for nearly 2,000 years, and now it's fading without a fight. If you see my video on the left's religion, you'll know this outcome isn't accidental, it's part of the faith of the ruling class.